The Neo Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniverse.
Today's edition of Neo Reality Collective is brought to you by Anchor.fm, a free distribution service podcasting hosting platform that allows you to record your podcast on your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so much more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor.fm app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the 13th episode of Neo Reality Collective. We're back again after another extended hiatus, and more as I start to feel like I should start transitioning away from YouTube to podcasting, along with some other big projects I want to do down the road. We're going to cover some news for the last week and some additional news that I missed out on in relative short timing. So, DC Comics has been doing for the past couple of months now, teasing the return of the WildStorm characters from the WildStorm universe that once existed under Jim Lee, and then when DC revamped everything with the New 52, they also chose to integrate the characters into the DC universe during the New 52, but things just kind of, as the New 52 fell apart, they ultimately decided to go a different direction. But since Jim Lee is now the sole owner of DC Comics' presidency route, he is bringing back the WildStorm universe into the DC universe, because recently, since the relegated Generation Zero event teased the Return of WildStorm Characters, Midnight and Apollo came to the Future State stories and then Action Comics, while Grifter joined the Batman books while working for Lucius Fox as a bodyguard, so to speak. Alongside flashbacks and side-eye giving us Halo, Jacob Marlowe, Deathblow, Sleeper, Backlash, and the rest of Team 6 and 7 in Batman Urban Legends. Another upcoming issue also has promised to fight with Zealot returning to fight Wonder Woman in a no-holds-barred action. And then there's Superman the Authority, and Billy Cool states that in the comic, Superman created the Authority to replace the failed Justice League and sees out of continuity, but in this week's Batman Urban Legends number 5 that comes out, it apparently gets real, with Wildcats bringing back the initials in its name that once stood for Covert Action Teams, the memberships crossing the publication from Grifter to Ladytron, to Fairchild to Zila, and Deathblow and beyond. So, the WildStorm characters. So, I've never been in the WildStorm universe stuff when it was its own imprint and its own separate universe from the DC Comics stuff. I read the Authority. I have the Absolute Authority edition from the nowadays controversial Warren Ellis, who is currently at a publisher. Yeah. So, yeah, there is some uncomfortableness regarding his subject matter, but yeah, the Authority is still a pretty damn good story despite the author in question. But that's about the closest I got. Like, the things I didn't know, that the Authority formed in the aftermath of an event with Stormwatch being destroyed by the Xenomorphs from Aliens, and I am not kidding. So you will never ever see that printing again in imprints because, well, Marvel owns the rights to Aliens, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to pay DC Comics or Warner Media money to go ahead and reprint those old issues, because DC would get a cut of the profits most likely. So you're better off looking on the internet for those. Oh man. Sadly, there is reports going around in wrestling as well. WWE has reported that Bayley has sustained an undisclosed injury in the midst of training and is likely to miss around 9 months of action. A suitable replacement was confirmed for SmackDown, confirmed to be Carmella on the show, and Bayley was set to wrestle Belair in the I Quit match at Money in the Bank. It was to be their third consecutive bout on pay-per-view, following their matches at WrestleMania Backlash, still a stupid name, and Hell in a Cell. Bayley last wrestled on June 25th on SmackDown, teaming with Seth Rollins to defeat Belair and Cesaro. And PW Insider reported later that the injuries of torn ACL sustained earlier this week during a mandatory return to the road training. When I heard that, I was thinking, why? Like, I get the other talents who are not regularly on TV and thus are subjected to house show regulations. Therefore, return to the road is the thing they need to start training on because they're going to go back on house shows again. But when I heard Bayley was on the list, I was thinking, yeah, I don't see it. Bayley has. I would think Bayley was already ready to go back on the road to wrestle more, but now with his injuries, well, that sucks. Like maybe she took it. I heard it was mandatory, so thanks, Vince, if you want. But one of the other things I was hyped about with Bayley because I really feel like after the whole Peace Performance Center days of WWE, Bayley was the one stealing the shows with Sasha and all their stuff. And the early mid stages of the Thunderdome era, Bayley had really held her own with the thing and carried WWE throughout that. And I felt like she started getting the short end of the stick because, well, Bayley was moved around a lot. She had hoped she could have a WrestleMania match with Sasha, but they said, no, we're going to do that sooner and do it at Hell in a Cell, end it there. Even though this is a feud that's years in the making, quite literally, honestly. So it is disheartening to see that Bayley went from being the big standout star in the WWE for the past 2020 and early 2021 to being relegated to, oh, she's not even on the card and she's not even going to do an open challenge match, and then basically fighting Bianca Belair with their second match being the best match and the first one being very in my professional opinion. I say professional. Oh, man. I kid myself. I'm just a fan. But to hear Bayley being out, I hope she recovers soon and gets back to doing what she loves. It sucks that it sucks. It honestly sucks for her to get injured like this. I'm hoping for the best for her, and we're going to have to see where that goes from here. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to have to see in case anything else happens. But yeah, Bayley, like some people thought she was pregnant, which is confusing because there's no indication of that, at all. Like I heard some people on Twitter saying that and whatnot. But yeah, but Twitter did also explode when AEW announced that All Out had officially sold out. Yeah, a Thursday pre-sale had occurred that saw nearly all available seats inside the Chicago's Now Arena get sold out, with a few remaining seats purchased on Friday for the public, for non-pre-sale people. So, yeah, AEW put out a video promoting that we sold out the show. So they're going to have a packed arena. One of my buddies from ATW is joining up with them and going to go to Chicago and watch the event in person. Lucky him. We'll probably never get to experience that kind of thing. I'm still waiting for Madison Square Garden so we can go there. Damn you. But that's the dream. That's the dream, to go to Madison Square Garden and watch something big like New Japan or AEW. It's probably going to be Japan if they're able to get the coronavirus issues under control there, since COVID keeps being a huge hassle and with all the multiple variants running around. So yeah, but yeah, congratulations to All Elite Wrestling for selling out All Out. Wrestling is saying, people like to say it is dead. And we gotta account that this is the streaming age. Metric data has changed and whatnot. So, speaking of wrestling stuff, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks won Best WWE Moment at the ESPYs. Congrats. And Bianca just came off looking like a star. I saw some images of her. Congratulations on that. Their SmackDown Women's match between each other for the SmackDown Women's title was labeled Best WWE Moment on the ESPYs Award against 13 other WWE moments to win. Fan voting determined which moments advanced through the bracket of entries. Oh man, it's kind of awesome, especially with the competition. Edge winning the Royal Rumble, Bianca winning the Rumble, Bad Bunny's performance with performing a Canadian Destroyer to take the award. It was an awesome match. It was a lot better than I was expecting, and glad it was the main event. It certainly earned it, despite the bad, questionable booking they did. Oh man. So yeah, uh, I talked to one of my buddies on Twitter about it, saying how Bianca looks like a megastar, and I said, "Don't say that. You know Vince hates that word because then Hollywood's going to come knocking, and they're going to go ahead and take her. They already took Sasha. They're probably going to take Roman soon, and then Vince is going to go crazy and bury a whole bunch of people for another 10 years if Vince breathes that long because he is in his 70s now. So yeah, it could still go that route because Vince is crazy like that." But there was even weirder news. There was a bit of weird news afterwards. Mike Kanellis, aka Mike Bennett, as he's called outside of WWE, claims that he was in line to play Sister Abigail. Oh, fuck. That sounds stupid. And speaking with Metro, Mike Bennett claimed that in 2019, Vince McMahon wanted Wyatt to have more human followers, and that Bennett was tapped to play Sister Abigail come to life, and he wouldn't have been the only wrestler helping bring a Wyatt creation to life. Early on, when Bray Wyatt turned into the Fiend, Vince was always high on having Bray Wyatt lead a group for some reason. He always wanted him to lead a group. We were about a week away from making it happen, where me and Eric Young were going to be part of Bray Wyatt's group, and we were going to they were going to bring to life the puppets. Each puppet was going to represent an actual person. I don't remember. There were talks that I was going to be Sister Abigail, and Eric Young was going to be a buzzard. It was one of those things where you guys will play these characters, you will train them as the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse, but then they'll come to life. And then he added, I thought it was really cool. I was ready to sink my teeth into it. But then, like most stuff, right before it happens, like, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That would have been a really cool spot, but I guess I'll go sing catering. So sucks for Mike Bennett, but also I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. That just sounds terrible. I mean, I think he was meant to play Abby the Witch, which is confusing because Abby's a woman and Sister Abigail is a woman. From what they've described her, we never see the character of Sister Abigail, but the only one that would probably have helped give an answer besides Wyndham Rotunda is Tommy End, and he's in AEW now. Though I do kind of, though I'm like, why is that an idea they're doing? Why was that an idea that went through their heads? I hope that isn't true, honestly. I hope Mike Bennett is just trying to make a headline with that, because that just sounds honestly quite terrible, I think. That's just my 2 cents. It's like, oh god. And this was when he was super over with the fans and whatnot, when he was doing all this awesome stuff, and it's like how do you explain this delicately? Like I don't get it. It's so confusing. Oh. So Square Enix revealed that making the Ufc Dlc, and they give the tantalizing hints of part 2. And they go ahead and tease more about part 2, about how it will be vastly different from the original story, confirming more that time in history has been altered, which means I am still more convinced than ever that this is secretly a sequel remake, a sequel or requel. Okay, that's terrible. But yeah. It's certainly a requel being made, and now you got all this crazy stuff and unpredictability added back into it. We'll have to see where that goes, but I'm hoping it's pretty damn good. Buzz is made by Tetsuya Norma. And while, yes, I know he's made his mistakes, like how he handled Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 3, he is a damn good game developer and one of the fun over the top guys in the industry. Like he'll take the idea and be like, okay, what if we did this and yet go cosmic with it? Along with that, Star Wars Visions was revealed, the first look and release date set for September 22nd, 2021. And one of the things I did hear from my buddies when we were talking about it was that it's not canon with the main timeline of the Disney canon, and it's certainly not canon with the Legends timeline. So is Disney just going with the multiverse route that they could obviously go with the World Between Worlds? I certainly hope so. But like, this is exactly what I was. This was one of the things I was just saying for some years now. I was saying that Disney needs to just stop focusing on just one continuity. Like fans don't want to be told everything you read for like the last 30 years doesn't mean a damn thing anymore to us because we said it doesn't matter, but instead you should have multiple continuities. Like you own Marvel, they're a multiverse property. They have the MCU, they have the Marvel 616 universe, the main universe that we all grow to love. They have the House of M universe. They have the Days of Future Past timeline universe. They have all these infinite multiverse stuff, along with DC and Warner Media or Warner Discovery, since the merging happened. So I'm like, why can't Star Wars be in a world with Marvel and DC and have two timelines? Or if they want to go all out, make several. Like they have the Infinities, they have the Infinites, they have the Legends timeline, they have the Disney canon. They can still push the Disney canon, but we should still have a right to go ahead and have the opportunity to still get the stuff, the original stuff we grew up on. I want to see what happens to Jaina Solo in the Sword of the Jedi trilogy. I want to see the new timelines. I want to see new stuff. We could make something out of this, and they could make something off of this, like a Crisis event if they really wanted to, like DC does for like 90% of the time these days. Even with Infinite Frontier, that should have been signifying the end of Crisis stuff for a long, long time. They're already coming back with another Crisis, a dark side again. So yeah, there's a new Crisis coming, so that's to be expected. Yeah, so yeah, Disney should definitely just cut their losses on this and just go all out with Star Wars multiverse media. I'm all for it, and we could have crossovers. We could have different timelines. I want to see a time where Anakin doesn't turn to the dark side. I want to see a time like we still have fan fictions to compensate for that, but like I want to see official Disney property. I want to see this stuff be brought to life on TV. I want to see what would happen if Palpatine was stopped, or what would happen if Rey was actually interesting for me. I went there. I'm not a fan of the Rey character. It feels like such a missed opportunity there. And there is so many ways they could fix this or try to balance the whole she's somebody or she's nobody. But it's either here or there. The damage is done. You're stuck with it. So now you have to either retcon it or just decanonize the sequel trilogy, because when you get the good stuff from Star Wars, like Clone Wars and Bad Batch and The Mandalorian, you're like, oh man, this is so awesome. I can't wait for it's going to end badly. And it means ultimately nothing and will be in nihilistic despair. Yeah, that's certainly a thing we have to look forward to. We have to experience Baby Yoda probably getting killed by Kylo Ren and Snoke, who will be controlled by Palpatine and blow up the Jedi Temple area in the comics. So good luck with that. Good luck with that ending of Mandalorian. Way to go. Also, as time goes on, reports are suggesting that Grand Theft Auto 6, the long awaited sequel to GTA series that we've been wanting so desperately for so long to see is clearly not going to come for some time. It's going to come in either 2024 or 2026. 2025. Oh, man. So, the details that did come out about what was rumored about the upcoming for the in development GTA 6, since it was said to be in development last year, but it was in early. Tom Henderson, and along with some other corroborated stories like Jason Schreier and Andy Robinson, and added that it will take modern take on the series is Miami inspired by City, and that the game's map will be altered over time the same manner as the live service games like Fortnite. Details VGC has also said it heard. Of course, that's with all rumors, practically those out of early projects. These details should be taken with a grain of salt and could change all the time. If the game did arrive in 2024, that would create a potential 6-year gap in the main timeline Rockstar releases following 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2. It remains to be seen if Rockstar will have any other new games to fill in that gap, but GTA Online and GTA 5 will be coming as expanded and enhanced in new console gen versions on November 11th. Also surprising, on the 20th anniversary of GTA 3, including some related GTA Online, the anniversary arriving on October 22nd, where Rockstar hasn't made it clear what the anniversary content might be. Hopefully, we get the character from GTA 3 that we played to show up in present time. But that's probably not going to happen. He's probably dead by that point. Ooh. Also, Zack Snyder's whole stuff has been busy. He went from DC's finest heroes uniting, finally, in the fully released Snyder Cut, to blowing up Las Vegas zombie apocalypse style. Zack Snyder is now heading to the final frontier, Rebel Moon, a Netflix exclusive sci-fi adventure. Following the residents of a pizza colony at the edge of the galaxy as they struggle against armies sent by a tyrant named Belarus. To combat the threats, the colony sends out a woman to gather warriors from neighboring planets to make a stand against the invading force. Along with directing, he will also co-write the film and reunite with Army of the Dead co-writer Shandy Hay and 300 co-screenwriter Kurt Johnston. Snyder and Johnston will also receive story credit. Additionally, Zack Snyder will serve as producer alongside his wife, producing partner Deborah Snyder, and wife Eric Newman will produce through his Grand Electric banner with executive producer Sarah Bowen. This has been growing up as an Akira fan, a Star Wars fan. It's my love of sci-fi and a great adventure. My hope is that it has also become a master IP in a universe that we could build out of. So, Rebel Moon originated as a Star Wars concept that Snyder pitched to Lucasfilms before Disney purchased the company in 2012. The spin-off was conceived as a follow-up to the events of Return of Jedi, with New Jedi Wars setting out on a dangerous mission while the project never came to fruition. Snyder confirmed that he was reworking the premise into an original film back in May. So this was in Zack Snyder's mind a post-Return of the Jedi event, and this was before Disney bought the company, and we have no idea Disney if they would actually go forward with it. George Lucas was up for it because you still have the expanding universe at the time, so it would have been interesting. It would have been interesting, but yeah. So Ubisoft, the controversial company that I will not talk about on its subject matters because it is horrible, duplicitous, and horrendously controversial. Go watch Jim Sterling for the coverage on that because holy crap. Assassin's Creed Infinity, reportedly a Fortnite evolving platform. So, yeah, they're doing a cross-studio collaborative structure where they're going to do what GTA 6 is reportedly doing in their early development, do a Fortnite-like evolving map that basically set in the Assassin's Creed timeline. So, yeah. And apparently this game will take several years to develop instead of releasing every single year. So it seems like they're trying to make this like a console generation thing or make a permanent thing where they make one game and they make money off of it as a live service project. Probably. But yeah, I'm not going to talk more about this. This is uncomfortable. So yeah, sorry. Also, EA's DICE LA is changing its name to Ripple Effects Studio and developing an unannounced game. And there were rumors that this might be the Dead Space remake, because of course it is. It was apparently chosen as a team vote and is the latest in a long list of rebrands dating back to the late 90s when EA first acquired DreamWorks Interactive. DICE LA was founded in the closure of Danger Close Games, which in turn was rebranded version of EA Los Angeles. Since opening its doors in 2013, DICE mainly provides support for various iterations of Battlefield. At the moment, Ripple Effect is taking the lead on new modes for Battlefield 2042, which is set to be revealed at EA Play, but behind the scenes, the studio is staffing up aggressively as it prepares to lead development of its own games. So, rumors have said that this might be the Dead Space remake, which yeah, good luck with that. We're probably screwed after that, but it's something to be scared about a little bit sometimes. But yeah, I'm all for the idea. I'm like, if they do a Dead Space remake and not screw people over with microtransactions, fine. But yeah, considering the story about how Dead Space fell apart because EA built it up as a multimedia franchise instead of just being its own self-contained series of games, and if they wanted to expand it later down the road, then they could have, but they chose to rush it because EA is evil. Oh man. Also, for those who are enjoying the Loki series, I've been having fun with it. So the sets, it's reported the director says that 90% of physical sets are all physical, the locations in Loki, and I'm thinking, wow. But yeah, I'm a little annoyed by that trailer indicating a much smaller scaled, less detailed world outside of the TVA, and then they blow it up with CGI all over the place to the point it's becoming very distracting. It's like, I can't really tell by that. Oh man, it's kind of amazing that this happened, but 90% of the Loki sets are all real, physical, built up from the ground up, real life models. Especially that one take scene in episode 3, I believe, which was freaking awesome. Which ended in total failure, but that's the gist of it. But yeah, we're also going to go ahead and deal with another big development regarding Marvel and DC. Even they are both skipping Comic-Con at Home 2021 event. Yeah, so Deadline reports that the pop culture heavyweights will be skipping this year's event, which is scheduled later for this month. Instead, Comic Con at Home will spotlight movies like Snake Eyes and Show Up Bob's Burgers, Batman The Long Halloween Part 2 will also be featured, so it won't be totally bereft to superheroes. And as Deadline points out, the news doesn't totally rule out Sony, which could still make the sort of appearance with Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius. So they recently found success with their own fandom event, DC Fandom with Warner Brothers, where they debated the Suicide Squad full cast, Snyder Cut teaser, and lots more. The MCU meanwhile continues the direct streaming with popular MCU shows, who managed to make their own way without the help of the hype generated by San Diego Comic-Con. I think it's also because Comic-Con is a digital event this year and not, well, a physical event, so the COVID pandemic probably is one of the other big reasons. And there's no telling when there's going to be an update on that, but that's neither here or there. Anyways, tune in everyone for this sponsor for today's episode. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this message. We're back, everyone, with Neo Reality Collective on this. I hope you all enjoyed the ad break. We're back right into things. Marvel executive has revealed that there will be more LGBTQ MCU stories on the way. Speaking to Variety at the Black Widow fan premiere in Hollywood, Executive Vice President of Film Production and Victoria shared that there will take some time. There are so many stories we could tell with LGBTQ characters. It takes time. We have so many stories that we can tell. We will empower those that are. We're not changing anything. We're just showing the world who these people are, who these characters are. There's a lot that we have coming up that I think will be representative of the world of today. We're not going to nail it in the first movie or the second movie or the third movie or the first show or second show. We'll do our best to consistently try to represent. The decision to make Loki flu was not as complicated as one might think. Echoing Tom Hiddleston's the Loki actor, saying, I have to be honest with you, it's not a big deal. It is what it is when it's just the character. We're not going to do it because it's politically correct or incorrect. It is what it is. Don't forget, we follow our comics. We try to follow them quite to the T. So in the comics, this is who he was. So naturally, I was thinking to myself, well, he wasn't always like that because the comics were originally had a much different viewpoint in the world. Now it's different. Like Harley Quinn wasn't always LGBT with Poison Ivy. Like they always teased it a lot, and they were always close friends rather quickly. But she was always interested in Joker. Then they changed it up as the years went by because time and evolution has changed for society. So naturally, it's progressively getting better and bigger and bigger. So naturally, we're in a more progressive world view on everything, even despite various factors that make me depressed. But I do like to also mention that Loki being gender fluid or being anybody he wants on this is kind of not surprising because Loki shapeshifts a lot. So naturally, that would make him question some things about himself. So naturally, I actually saw this coming a little bit. It actually makes sense when you think about it. And plus, I like how they say it's not a big deal in terms of for the characters. This is how it is. They're just like, oh, this person's LGBT or this person's transgender. We don't treat it like it's the greatest, most shocking moment in history. It's instead just regular. It's normal. It's okay. You're pretty brave, but not something to be explosive and insane about. It's just something we live with now. It's just something we just accept for the most part on occasions. And definitely now makes me sad when people go crazy and bigot about it. Okay, moving on from my depressing thoughts. Marvel is also having their What If series finally being revealed. Their trailer came out showing a lot of what if scenarios. And with Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, King T'Challa, having his final performance as a voice actor for our Black Panther that was the Guardian of the Galaxy, and was taken by Yondu, which is pretty odd, but this is a what if timeline. I actually was thinking stuff about the Loki series. I'll probably make a review about it. I don't know if it's going to be on Pop Culture Omniverse or is it going to be a special New Reality Collective bonus episode. But yeah, the What If will explore the characters including Killmonger, Black Widow, and more. Or it will show this What If series. He's including Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa Star-Lord, and pretty much every Marvel actor will voice their animated counterpart for the series as well. So it's pretty awesome that this is happening. It's gonna make it very sad when we see T'Challa one more time being voiced by Chadwick Boseman. It's gonna be sad, really sad that this is it. This is the last time you will probably see. This will be the last time you will likely see T'Challa. You will see Chadwick Boseman in a role because he sadly passed away last year due to cancer, and he had been hiding this for years. And I get depressed when I think about it because it's like now the context is different. The fact that he put himself through so much physical strain, getting himself up, building himself up for roles, and keeping this a secret, fighting the battles of cancer. It's pretty inspiring, but also I think sometimes it's just like eventually, like I feel like health is the important factor in this. People be mad that he stopped? to focus more on his health, sure, but there are people that will accept that he focused more on his health and his lot and whatnot. But the fact that he was in roles doing stuff, I don't know if Marvel Studios do that. I could be wrong, but it's still shocking. It was a shocking moment for me. I had just gone off of the high I was on when Roman Reigns finally turned heel, and then this was announced, and I was like, wow, that's horrifying and shocking to hear he passed away. Yeah, this was like the one of the shocking deaths that affected me a little bit last year. The other being Brody Lee's passing out of nowhere. We never knew what he was going through. Neither did Chadwick Boseman, and we didn't know Chadwick Boseman's conditions. So it was very emotional for emotional days for us on those times. But let's go more into some positive and albeit funny news. So Sony does not know their own console at all. Like, they don't know. How do they not know though? Sony deleted an ad after Twitter observers noticed something odd about the ad. The ad showed the PlayStation 5, the console they built, Sony, they designed, was upside down. They had it upside down. Oh, God. This reminds me so much about Malachi Black in WWE and him leaving to go to AEW after the contract reveal that came out. But, like, oh, Sony, how do you not, dude? How did you not look at that when you were setting up the set for the commercial and thought, hey, is this supposed to be like this? Like, oh god, this is embarrassing. Honestly, they deleted the tweet with the video. It was just so embarrassing for them, and it was funny for everyone else. But yeah. Um, but it's hilarious. I bought a PS5. I finally got it. Yay, a PS5! I finally got it. Well, congratulations to me and everything and like that. But it's still pretty embarrassing to hear that happened. Like, really embarrassing. Like, oh god, how do you screw up that badly? At least now we'll be able to look at the video how not to set up the console right, where you can set upright or set 9 the way they did it. Oh, man. So Sony can at least take that credit. So there's already a sequel's already in development called of the Tomorrow War, which starred Chris Pratt. According to Deadline, Amazon Studios and Skyline is already talking about bringing the gang back together, including director and stars and screenwriter on the sequel for Tomorrow War. Paramount, which was originally set to distribute the Tomorrow War in theaters, is also in negotiations involved in the sequel. So it was one of the big streaming premieres, and star Chris Pratt celebrated the successful launch of the Tomorrow War as a streaming exclusive. I haven't watched it personally, but other people just call it dumb fun, and that's fine. That's fine. It can be dumb fun. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow a standard story like you would expect from an Avengers movie. It's just dumb fun. Something to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show. That's more than WWE Monday Night Raw, I can say that. But yeah, they're already planning a sequel for it. It could be interesting. I don't know how they could tell the story, but we'll see. Also, man, Death Stranding. Remember that game? Yeah, because the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut was being made and screwing consumers over big time with it. Death Stranding is getting the director's cut treatment, bringing pretty vistas, new story missions, and a racetrack to the PS5 in September, where will allow you to transfer, and the director's cut will allow you to transfer your save data from PS4 version to PS5 instead of having to rebuy the whole thing. You can also upgrade the director's cut, unfortunately for $10 if you own the game already on PS4. So yeah, good luck with it. So yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing they're doing with Ghost of Tsushima, though, without the save data thing. So you would have to start from scratch. But it's like, what is with Sony lately? It's kind of frustrating that that this happened. It's annoying to hear that this happened. That Sony's so anti-consumer with everybody these days. Like, it's weird. Sony was pro-consumer once upon a time. Microsoft was anti-consumer. Then everything changed when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, and then all hell went topsy-turvy on us. It's weird. It's weird. And Kojima Productions head of publishing Jay Bohr also revealed more tidbits about the upcoming release. He confirmed about a performance mode that will run at 60 frames in a fidelity mode that will support ultra-wide displays and HDR. He also said that Death Stranding's director's cut new content is being built from the ground up, and that is not something being bolted onto the new original experience. Also confirming that all the Half-Life and Cyberpunk 2077 content from the PC version will also be on the PS5 with new online features, including online leaderboards, and such. Why is there not director's cuts for Borderlands, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Tsushima? It's just weird to call it a director's cut. It's just weird because when I think of a game that really should get the director's cut treatment, or in fact, why is it called the director's cut? Why can't they call it the developer's cut? Wouldn't that make more sense because the studio has so many cuts from the game? I think of movies with director's cuts, but you want to know a game that I think should really get the director's cut treatment and not mod distortions doing all the work? Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Oh my god, it has a wiki page on fandom.com and Star Wars on Wikipedia that they have so much stuff that was cut from the game, so much so that it even affected the main game on consoles and PC that modders had to fix everything over time. And Obsidian wanted to bring back a lot of some of the content in order to fix things with a patch, but Lucas Games said no at the time. I don't know why. They rushed it a little bit, but they rushed it to Christmas. But yeah, it's so confusing that they said, no, you can't do that. But to hear that when you read the list of stuff that was cut from the original stuff they had, from in-game assets to story missions to even entire storylines they had planned, and in more context with characters and development, it's like, man, I would love if Obsidian came back, was allowed to make another game, was allowed to do Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords on a remake mode, but this time they get to go all out with it. They get to tell the story they always wanted to tell without the rushed development cost that affected the original OG game. Because you have certain characters that only joined up if you were a certain gender, even though in the canonical timeline of the Legends canon that they both were together. It was regardless of gender of the main character. So yeah, it feels like there's so much content that was cut that it would have been so fascinating to see. I really am saying that it really would have been fascinating to have seen a remake cut of a remake treatment of Knights of the Old Republic 2, and certainly a proper development remake, a developer's cut of the Old Republic 2 on Knights of the Old Republic 2, and see that experience, see what the developers had in mind, see what the developer's vision for the game was beyond Kreia, because Kreia is the most talked about character, and yet she's one of the few characters from the Star Wars canon in either continuity that's kind of forgotten about, despite everyone still praising her to this day as a deconstructor and how The Last Jedi was trying to be. But yeah. So back to Disney related properties. Black Panther 2. So Angeli Bassett, if I butchered that name, I'm sorry, reveals that there have been 5 versions of the Black Panther 2 screenplay, with another one coming on its way. Saying, I don't know what's it going to look like at all. There have been about 5 incarnations of the script, and I hear that another one's coming. Of course, I miss our dear King Boseman going on to glory. A lot of things had to be shifted and changed, so thankfully, director Ryan Coogler and writer Joe Robert Cole, they're just such masterful storytellers, is that they found a way into this world, and hopefully it will be satisfying. I think for the fans, it will be honorable for our Chad. We love our king. Along with the Black Panther show Wakanda Forever. So, oh man, it's gonna be weird, honestly, to not have Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther 2. And there's even rumors that Shuri's not going to be the blue Black Panther, even though it would make sense because she was the Black Panther in the comics for a time. So I'm curious to know what they're going to do with it. Who's going to be the new Black Panther? I'm definitely still saying Shuri should be it, but that's not my opinion. That's my opinion. That's not my decision. We'll have to see how they handle it, especially how they're going to handle if Namor's going to pop up, because they did tease a little bit of Atlantis in Endgame, saying that there's something underneath the earth that was kind of shifting around and we can't disturb it. And Wakanda probably kept it classified because, of course, because this is the government we're talking about, and considering how Wakanda was portrayed in the comics a few times, yeah, I can imagine it. Also, more Disney stuff. Disney has not discussed the second season yet, according to the star of The Book of Boba Fett. So, sadly, he replies his role Boba Fett after playing his clone dad Jango Fett in the prequel trilogy for the upcoming series Book of Boba Fett. It sounds like Disney might be taking a wait-and-see approach before committing to a second season. And if he were to express UK for the sci-fi film Occupation Rainfall, Morrison was naturally asked about the upcoming series. The first season wrapped up filming earlier this year, but apparently there have been no discussions yet for a second season. So he said they'll probably want to test the waters first. There's no talk about it. The actor was also asked if he could provide some specifics, saying this, you know the rules, nothing, joking, and talking about how the series will be a duos thing with Sean and Fett working together. So, yeah, after Boba Fett took over the throne, it looks like it's going to be a mafia crime thriller. So what Lucas was going to do with Maul and his viewpoint of how the sequel trilogy should have went, had he been allowed to do it. And this was early 2000s, though. His one that he proposed to Disney was a lot different, and probably tied more with the Legends continuity in order to just fit things together. Also, there was apparently a much bigger cameo for Loki. Frog 4 or Thorg from Marvel Comics. The jar shown of the frog version of Thor, because that's a timeline, along with the Loki crocodile or alligator. Man, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. This is comics, everybody. Yeah, apparently they had a plan to do that at one point, and then they cut it out, which would beating up Loki in the first episode, so that would have been funny. But yeah, missed opportunity there. It would have been funny. And let's hope this is a deleted scene if they ever publish it. Also, Halo is back in the news. The Master Chief creator shows off unused Halo guns, including a microwave rifle. One being a concussion gun, an excavator, particle beam rifle, microwave gun. There's a video of it on his Twitter account. It's been posted by IGN and various other publications. It's weird. And using the old build of Halo, it's so weird to see that now. Would have been interesting if we got that one, but we'll probably never see it, like physically hold it and play it. But back to Thor and whatnot. Love and Thunder. Takaiwati, if I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. He says that Love and Thunder Thor is the craziest thing I've ever done, saying it almost should not be made. I've done some crazy shit in my life. I've lived like 10 lifetimes, but it's the craziest film I've ever done. Okay, so is he Grant Morrison of movies? Because this sounds something exactly what Grant Morrison would say. This sounds exactly like what Grant Morrison would say. I definitely get that vibe. And then he says this: if you wrote down all the elements of the film, it shouldn't make sense. It's almost like it shouldn't be made. If you walked into a room and said, I want this and this and this, who's in it? These people. What are you going to call it? Love and Thunder. I mean, you never work again. Maybe I won't after this. Oh, man, that's pretty weird. Oh, God, that's going to be a fun time, probably. We're gonna see the Guardians. Apparently, we're gonna see probably him and Chris Pratt's Star-Lord, Peter Quill, and Thor go at it for as Guardians of the Galaxies, who takes the throne of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and probably going crazy. And Jane Foster's gonna become Lady Thor in awesome ways. We'll have to see. I'm looking forward to it, despite how overly crazy it is at times with the last one, Ragnarok. Oh man, it's gonna be weird. Also, Deathloop will be a PS5 exclusive until at least September 2022. As far by Kotaku, the date is 1 year from release on on PS5 and PC. This release gives the Series X players a bit of an idea how long they have to wait to play the PS5 exclusive that is being published by Bethesda and developed by Arcane Studios, both of which are now owned by Microsoft. So yeah, Microsoft is honoring the exclusive deals they had made. So there's going to be an exclusivity period that will end on September 14th, 2022. So yeah, okay, like Microsoft's clearly going to go for all exclusivity, probably most likely down the road, once they honor their exclusive deals. But that's ultimately what it will be. That's probably where it's going, especially when they were going to do Starfield for multiple platforms, and then they announced, nope, we're going to have it for Xbox and PC because we're owned by Microsoft now. Also, another thing that's coming to the Game Pass, Psychonauts 2 is going to feature an invincibility toggle, as all people should enjoy the games. Double Fine has revealed that Psychonauts 2 will feature an invincibility toggle, as it believes that all people should be able to enjoy games. They shared a bit of news in response to Xbox Twitter saying that beating the game on the lowest difficulty is still beating the game. So the thing about that, so okay, I get it. Like they did that for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'll probably make a review about it on Neo Reality Collective as another bonus episode. But I didn't use that feature in the game. I wanted a little bit of a challenge on it. But yeah, I get it. Like there are people that just want to watch the story and play and just have wacky fun and not deal with the health bar and whatnot, and having to restart and go back. Well, except for getting killed. If you fall off the platform. But yeah, personally, I have no problem with this, but people do have a problem. Like people will go ahead and get mad over From Software games when there's an easy mode modded into it, even when they did say they wanted to do an easy mode, but then they cut it out. And would it have been interesting to do an easy mode? Yeah, I probably would have gone into it, because I don't really like playing super brutal hard games like From Software likes to do, because they're kind of insane and notorious for super difficult games. So yeah, I get a Double Fine's viewpoint on this, but it's probably not going to sit well with some people. But I personally understand it. I get it. Well, everyone, this was all the news we have for this episode. Tune in next time. And hopefully more bonus content coming down the road. I'm certainly gonna love that. But Yeah, as I transition more into a podcast role on the internet, you'll be seeing me again real soon. So this was Neo Reality Collective, brought to you by NRE brand, the NRE brand by Eric Brown. Feel free to check out my other stuff, and I'll link more in the description, and more content's coming your way soon. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniverse.